I've had Charley T on the
There
podcast.
you go.
Charley, for people who've never listened to any of the episodes before with you on, tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you believe.
Sure. So my name's Charley, founder of Disruptor School. I've been in the game a little over a decade. Like 10 years ago, I was spending $1 million a day on Facebook before there was even a pixel. And I've been head of growth and at agencies and in brands, SaaS companies, lead gen organizations. I generally once or twice a year help scale businesses from 7 to 8 or 9 figure run rates. I've spent probably $100 million on basically every single platform and easily driven over $1 billion in revenue on Facebook alone. I kind of stopped counting my Facebook ad spend, honestly, in like 2018. I was over $500 million. So like I've been around. I was the first guy to launch lead gen ads. I helped Facebook figure out how to use dynamic creative testing, how to figure out how to use broad targeting, dynamic product ads. I was part of the team in the initial disruptor group to develop the Power 5 and then later the Performance 5. I've basically been around and doing all sorts of stuff. And cool. Now I teach. I have brands. I've made hundreds of millions of dollars of mistakes, and I try to make this easy because it is. And where most people have subjective, myopic views that are self-serving, I just know how the machine works because I help the engineers with feedback on getting it built in the way that it exists now. So I just try to make things easy. My motto is more success, less stress, and that is my agenda.
And I can tell you, as a brand and agency owner, my life has gotten so much better. So we're kind of nearing the back half of Q1. The performance from what people have been talking about has been brutal, as a lot of people have said. Interesting.
Yeah. So most people that buy ads are what we would consider growth performance marketers. Basically meaning they're trying to get the best platform performance they can. Now, the problem with being a performance marketer is growth and data integrity aren't really your agenda. It is, let me get the best thing I can. And as a result, they'll use predictive bidding models like ASC or cost caps, bid caps, manual bidding. They'll also avoid using data integrity stuff. So they're not leaning into dynamic creatives. They're not leaning into singular offers. They're not focusing on stabilizing the funnel and improving the business model. Instead, they're trying to do as aggressively as they can, take basically the least efficient channel and make it as efficient as possible, and don't understand that the ramifications of that is a hyperbolic level of instability that directly translates into lower cash flow for the business at large. So that's a very surface level way of putting it. In fact, most operators that are focusing on how to use their tools properly aren't seeing the problem. Most operators who blame their tools when their job doesn't go well, they're seeing it. It is an extreme bifurcation of the universe based on how they're addressing performance versus growth marketing.
Yeah. Can you walk me through some of the fundamentals and in the sort of story format of like, what is going on with huge overspending in accounts, right?
Sure.
There was a massive CPM spike or something like that. And for some reason, we didn't see it. I'm not sure why we were the minority in that one, but I'd love to know like what's going on there and what's the fundamental behind all of that we're seeing.
So let's just take a look at the overall landscape. And I think something that people far too often don't account for, which is market forces. Generally, the year looks like this. Q1, record low CPMs, super high aspirational buying behavior. And then we hit to February, and around mid-February, the unit economics change entirely. Supply and demand shifts. People are on their devices less, and big marketers are dropping millions of dollars. And then come March, things kind of level off. Then we hit Q2 where they kind of hit some nominal levels. We have good stuff and we have bad stuff, but it ends at the worst time of the year, which is the doldrums of summer. Then we get to Q3 where there's a bit sort of a return back to those Q2 unit economics. And it ends at the setup for Black Friday, which starts more or less October 1 and has a huge run all the way up. And then we have Q5, which is the week after Christmas to mid-January, where it's a mini Black Friday all over again. And then the whole cycle repeats. So we have to understand that first off, if Facebook knows how to use your ads to deliver a consistent user experience based on their quality of their experience on Facebook, then as these market forces hit, you're going to be far less subject to them. But when there's a drop in the way the unit economics work, those things become no longer viable. And you've made the effort of saying these ads not only give people a positive Facebook or Instagram experience, but they also attract the right type of person for my business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the questions that I see people ask you all the time is like, well, why would I set this up when I want to market my entire catalog?
It's about data integrity, about teaching the machine how to go after those people.
And I'm wondering if it's because of that data integrity that we basically said like, hey, here's 2,000 purchases of people that look like this. Yeah. Kind of what I'm seeing in there, Charlie.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me put it to you this way. If people are buying because of the inflection point of price, their brand loyalty is extraordinarily low. They're not looking for that brand. They're looking for that solution at a specific price. The problem is because you got a whole bunch of individuals into your store that were not interested in the product, but interested in the offer, you now have completely polluted your entire data set in Facebook and your customer base with a whole bunch of people that have no intention of actually caring about your business.
Yeah.
And so a performance marketer would be stoked.
So, Charlie, what would you say to people who are having performance fluctuations right now?
Let me give a 3-point punch list. First one, understand the unit economics of your customer journey based on the product that they bought. Second thing, understand at that point what is most desirable for you and figure out a way to move into the smallest amount of moving parts you can to attract the type of attention that gets that action to occur. And ultimately, what I would suggest everybody try to solve is to get to the end result, find the end result that you define as success, and then back your way into it. One of the consistent things is find a way to make the revenue that is not dependent on ads greater than your ad spend. That is completely achievable. The only thing that's going to stop you is your business model can't handle that growth because of inventory, overhead, or a blended CPA. And changing the Facebook ad is the least sticky, least effective way of improving your blended cost per acquisition. There's a million other things that can improve it.
Charlie, thank you so much for your time. This did not disappoint.